Hello everyone, today I'm going to be flying ANA's Premium Economy class from Tokyo Narita to San Francisco, and I'm going to be giving you all a full flight review of my experience. As always, feel free to use the chapters function just to skip around, and without further ado, let's head to the airport. I just made it here to Narita Airport and I passed through security. What's great with Premium Economy is you do get priority baggage and you also get access to the ANA Business Class Lounge, which is one of my favorite lounges. At the ANA Business Class Lounge, you have a great view of the tarmac and the food there is also awesome. So let's go. I made it here inside the lounge just under 3 hours before boarding, so let's go get some food. Alright, it's time for round one of my lunch, which is the ANA's signature chicken curry, and it's my favorite dish here at the lounge. There's large pieces of chicken and carrots in there, and the carrots are so soft because they're cooked forever, so they really just melt in your mouth. The curry is also incredibly intense and flavorful as well. You just get a really heavy and rich sweetness at the beginning, followed by a rich flavor of all the different spices, and a little bit of spiciness as well. And this just tastes so good because it really is like a homemade curry. I could really just eat this ANA curry over rice all day long. For course number 2, I got a variety of rice balls and inari sushi. I gotta go for their inari sushi first. They really do this so well here. This is pretty much as good as inari sushi you'll ever get. The outer wrapper is so juicy, it literally just explodes into your mouth with a whole bunch of sweet soy sauce that the dry tofu is soaked in. The rice is a key component as well. I love that it's not overly seasoned, it just has the right amount of vinegar just to bring a little bit of flavor, but the best part about it is it's lightly packed, so the second you bite into the rice, it just breaks apart in your mouth. I also got the rice ball with pearl barley and seaweed. Oh, this is great. I definitely remember this from last year. It was one of my favorite rice balls. I really love that they have the pearl barley, which adds a nice nuttiness to it, and it also adds a bit of chewy texture, and there's also wakame seaweed in here. They also have another rice ball with bonito flakes, and I'm guessing they're on the inside, and this is a new one that I've never tried before. Ooh, I love that. I think that is my favorite rice ball compared to the other one. This one is just packed full of bonito flakes, which has that iconic smoky sort of woodsy flavor. For my third course, I just got a little bit of steamed vegetables and fried chicken. The chicken karaage is quite nice. It's a little bit on the salty side and a little bit greasy, but the flavor is definitely there. You taste how it's been marinated in soy sauce, and the chicken is ultra juicy. Well, the steamed vegetables are pretty much what I thought. They're just plain steamed vegetables, no salt, no seasoning, so it just tastes very healthy. I do wish they had a vegetable stir-fry dish, so I would totally load up on that, but I definitely understand steamed vegetables as they're a really light thing that you can eat just before a flight. The last food I want to try here at the lounge is their noodle bar. I just picked up my noodles at the noodle bar, and I went for the udon, topped off with grated yam and seaweed. These udon noodles look pretty good, and I definitely enjoyed grated yam, so I'm pretty curious to see how this one is. That's not bad. I'd say that's pretty much an average bowl of udon here in Japan. The noodles are nice and chewy, however they don't taste like they've been freshly made. Perhaps they were freshly boiled, but they definitely weren't made here at the airport. The broth is a light and salty dashi broth, so you taste a little bit of that kombu seaweed and a hint of those bonito flakes, but what I really like is the grated yam, because it adds a lovely sweetness. Overall, I really enjoyed my time here at the ANA Business Class Lounge. I love the views of the tarmac, and the food is also really solid as well. To me, I think it's a huge perk and huge advantage do you get access to the ANA Business Class Lounge with Premium Economy, since a lot of airlines don't offer lounge access for Premium Economy passengers. I definitely could have eaten more food here at the ANA Lounge, but it's so delicious. However, I did pre-order a special meal for Premium Economy, which you can get on flights out of Japan. Anyways, I'm just gonna chill here at the lounge for another couple of hours, and then I'll see you once we board our flight. Now that I made it to my seat, I'll see you again once we're up in the air.
Dear passengers, we are now ready for takeoff. Please make sure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. Thank you.
They just came around with drinks, and I got their citrus kabosi, which is my favorite drink on ANA. I'll never get tired of the citrus kabosi. It just tastes like light, refreshing, freshly squeezed yuzu juice with just a touch of honey. Now that drink service is over, I want to give you a little seat tour. First off, we just have our regular window shades, which are standard, just a plastic cover. Then once you open it, you can look out the window. As far as legroom goes, there's plenty of room for me. Although I'm quite short and I'm only 5'3", I can fit really comfortably in here. We also have a footrest that you can pull all the way down, that goes down here, and then to adjust it you just give it a little click up, and as you can see it kind of notches up, so you can just raise it to your desired height, and this is actually quite nice. Right here you have two control buttons. One is for the footrest and another one is for the recline. So I believe the footrest button is going to bring out a bottom footrest, so let's see. And just like that, we do get a nice bottom footrest. Well, it looks like this is all the footrest goes up, and I guess if anything it's more of a leg rest just to rest your legs on, and it's pretty decent. What I'm really curious about is how good the recline is going to be. Oh, that is incredible. That is a lot of recline, and it feels really nice. Once again, I pulled out the footrest that comes up from under the seat, and now it feels quite nice because I can really recline and lay back, and it feels like a nice plush recliner chair. And this is also definitely the most plush and soft premium economy seat that I've ever sat in. Up overhead, we also have air vents, which are letting out some cool air. And then we also have reading lights right above us. Right down here we have another remote with some little controls. I believe this little button right here turns on the reading lights. After clicking the button once, it turned on one reading light, and if I click the button again, it turns the light right back off. The one thing that's a little odd is the lights are reversed. When I turn on the reading light, it actually turns my seat partner's reading light on, so it lights them up, and then when they press the reading light button, it lights up my reading light, so that's a little odd. I'm not sure if that's just a mistake on this seat, or it's meant to be like that on purpose. Right here we have another reading light which you can move around and adjust, and to turn it on all you have to do is click this button. Now I want to show you some of the amenities I got. First off, there's already a blanket waiting for me on the seat. This blanket feels nice and soft and plush, however it is quite thin, but since this is a warm flight, I won't be needing this blanket anyways. Next off, we have our pillow, and this does feel like a really thin and not super comfortable pillow. I mean, if you can look at it, I'm just really squishing it, and it kind of feels like an empty pillowcase with not much inside of it. This is also not the biggest pillow either. If you can see, it kind of takes up this much room on my arm, and I have really short arms. They also tucked in some headphones and slippers into my seat. These are the slippers. They're pretty decent. They're made out of cloth. They're a little bit on the thin side, but these are the same slippers the business class passengers get. We also have headphones, and these are a decent size. I really like how they wrap around your ear, and they're not just like some cheap earbuds. The flight attendant walked around and also handed out some more amenities. I picked up these earplugs and an eye mask. On the cart, they also had a toothbrush and toothpaste, as well as a face mask. However, I didn't take those. We also have this huge in-flight entertainment screen, and if you look at this, here's my hand. It is really so big, and this is the biggest screen I've ever seen in premium economy. This is the home screen, and once you click continue, you can see all the different sections they have, everything from movies to videos and more. I love this little section because you can have a sky map as well as the onboard cameras, which I think are really quite cool because you have a forward camera and a downward camera. As far as movie selection goes, they have so many different movies. I really do feel like they have a great selection of Hollywood movies, so even if you don't speak Japanese, you're still going to find plenty of movies that are in English. Now they should be coming around with meal service shortly. They just brought out the special meal, and I love how it looks because there's so many different choices of food, but if you look, the tray table is really small, so this tray is kind of balancing, so hopefully we don't encounter any turbulence. The way I got the special meal is I pre-ordered it right when I booked my flight, and the cost was pretty cheap since it was only around $15. The presentation is quite nice because all the food is plated in real dishes. They also give you real silverware and the menu. First off, we have an appetizer of spicy chicken and green papaya salad, and I had this last year. Let's start off with the chicken. It's actually quite tasty. The chicken breast is surprisingly moist considering that it's airplane food, and I'm really impressed with the quality of the chicken. Last year I remember the chicken breast was really quite dry, but they've definitely improved it. My only criticism on this is just the seasoning. It tastes very mild and just slightly peppery, but not very salty. And I think that's because since we're up in the air, you really lose flavor and you lose your sense of taste a little bit. So I think all they need to do is compensate and just add some extra seasoning. Now I want to try some of the green papaya. Now it looks like it's in sort of the mayo and mustard sauce because I see lots of mustard seeds. The green papaya is surprisingly tasty. The flavor of it almost reminds me of cucumber, very mild, and it's crisp and very crunchy. And the sauce is surprising as well. It just tastes like a mixture of mayonnaise and mustard seeds. Typically, those are two flavors I'm not a really big fan of, but it works really well with the green papaya. Now I want to go for the main dish, which is the beef in the demi-glace sauce. That is mighty impressive. This tastes like a dish that I'll get at a 4-star restaurant. The beef is really fatty, and I love that because it gives it a buttery flavor, and it's also really tender. It just falls apart. Just when you pluck it apart with your chopsticks and the fork, it comes apart so easily. The sauce is also great. It really brings a nice wine flavor, which complements the beef nicely, and this definitely makes up for the appetizer, which didn't quite meet my expectations, but this definitely did. They also give you some rice that's wrapped up in paper, which keeps it nice and warm, and that's great just to go with the beef so you can soak up all the sauce. This also comes with a few small vegetables soaking in the sauce, like onion, but my favorite is Japanese pumpkin. They also give you some cheese and crackers, but I'm not going to be trying this for the video because I feel like it's just kind of boring. Finally, we got dessert, and this was my favorite part of the meal last year since this really looks like a business class dessert. Today, they have the peach mousse. On the bottom, you have the mousse, and on top, you have whipped cream, some jellies, and sauce. There's really no doubt about it, that is a business class dessert. On the bottom, you have the light and airy peach mousse, which tastes like it was recently made because it's really airy and whipped up. And then on top of that, you just have a little bit of whipped cream. And then the presentation on the very top also makes it key because you have agar jellies, which don't have a lot of flavor, but add a nice gelatinous texture, kind of like jello. And on top, you have a peach sauce, which really gives it a little bit more peachy flavor and a bit of tang. That was a fantastic meal in premium economy, and if you're flying premium economy out of Japan, you have to get the paid meal because it is so much better than the really small meals that they will typically serve you, which are just the standard economy meals. Now that we're around halfway through our flight, I think it's perfect time to do call button challenge. That was some ridiculously speedy service. The flight attendant came in only about 16 seconds. I ordered some hot green tea and she came back with my order around 30 seconds later. We're around 2 hours and 23 minutes away from landing and they just turned on the lights, so I think it's time for breakfast service. For breakfast, I got the Japanese option, which is the salmon flakes over rice with egg strips, and personally, I think the portion is kind of microscopic because it is so small. This is the same meal that's being served in economy, but just look at how small it is compared to my hand. Like, my hand is literally way bigger than the container that holds the food. Let's give this a go. That's honestly not a bad breakfast in terms of the taste. The rice on the bottom is perfectly cooked, and then on top of that, you have pickled greens, which are a bit on the salty side. You also have thinly sliced egg omelet, which is almost see-through, but the fish itself is also quite salty and a bit oily, because I really just taste those natural oils. What I will say is I'm pretty impressed with the quality of this meal, especially for economy food. It's definitely edible, and that is pretty surprising considering it's been on a plane for at least 7 hours now. You also have a little bit of Japanese yogurt, which you can basically just find at any convenience store in Japan, and you have a little bit of fruit. Overall, breakfast is pretty tasty. My only wish is that it was significantly bigger. Now I'll be landing shortly, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the flight once we're back on the ground. Now that my flight is coming to an end, I want to give you my final thoughts on ANA's new premium economy. First off, the airport experience was outstanding. First off, at Narita Airport, premium economy passengers share the same check-in line as business class. Lounge access was also a huge perk since most airlines do not provide lounge access to premium economy passengers. To no surprise, the food in premium economy was great as well. For my first meal, I got the paid exclusive meal since I was leaving on a flight out of Japan, and that is the only time it's served, and I will say it's totally worth it because for $15, I got a huge feast that was high quality and so delicious. Do I wish that they had the paid exclusive meal for breakfast as well? Yes. Do I wish they had the paid exclusive meal for flights going to Japan? Also yes. However, I can't really complain. Now you might be wondering how I felt after a 9-hour flight, and honestly I felt great. The seat was so comfortable and soft and plush. I also had so much legroom. I had plenty of legroom, and it's probably the most legroom I've ever had in premium economy. I was so comfortable, in fact, I honestly wouldn't have minded sitting in that seat for around another 4 hours because I still think I would end up being comfortable. Finally, the service was great, and it really doesn't matter what class you're flying on ANA, you're always gonna get awesome service. Overall, I will say premium economy was worth it. Although it does cost more than economy, I think once you add everything up, and especially the seat comfort and legroom, it is definitely worth the extra money. Anyways, I really hope you all enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Make sure if you did to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video when I compare ANA's premium economy to business class.